alam mo, nakausap ko kasi si Amy Marcos, no, a few times, and what I found really sickening, no, and I would point it out to her, is that this sickening sense of entitlement. They really feel that they are entitled to power and to Malacanang. So because I asked my Amy Marcos, why did you make him run? Why did you make him run? At kita mo yung kalidad ng pag-iisip. Kutsa parang ipis yung level ng pag-iisip. Very low caliber of thinking, no? Stupid in other words. And then she said, this is her explanation, because ever since they were kids, they grew up, Bongbong Marcos grew up, all of them grew up with that constant narrative of their parents that there should be again another there should again be another President Ferdinand Marcos. He had that name, and that in fact, in other words, they feel so entitled to living in Malacanang again because they were in power for so long, that they feel so entitled to it na hindi nila now that we have it, hindi na namin ito bibitawan. That's why, di ba, pagkaupo, Martin Romualdez wasted no time in trying to secure their perpetuation in power. There's a part of me na parang relieved ako na wala siyang access ngayon sa social media kasi masasaktan talaga siya sa nakita niya doon sa, kunyari yung sa flood, yung nahirapan ng mga tao. No, so there's a part of me na masaya na hindi niya nakikita yon. Kasi nakita ko si Pierre RD, no, yung umiyak siya, pag umiiyak siya, pag nakikita niya na nahihirapan yung mahihirap pagka may disaster. Tapos yung concern niya, yung kinikwento ko dati, di ba, yung dapat may bigas sila, dapat yung bahay nila maayos, dapat yung ganyan. Kaya parang, ang sakit-sakit ng makita na sinasabi ni Bongbong Marcos, 5,000, 10,000 ibibigay niya para sa bahay. Ano yun? Bahay ng manok. His ex-closest friends have said so. Attorney Glenn Chong has said it, no, na bumabawi siya ngayon. Naghihiganti siya ngayon sa Pilipinas na lahat pala nung nangyari yung pag-out sa tatay niyang magnanakaw, and everything was taken away from them, which is not even true, no? Which is not even true. Ang mga magnanakaw to mga ito, kakaiba tong pamilyang ito, mga addict talaga sa pagkakawatan, no? Talagang sticky fingers.
Kami po ninyong mga kaibigan sa makakaliwa.
Naku po, Dok.
Friend lang.
Mga friends mo, Dok, nasa Congress, Dok. Yes. Dok, una sa lahat, ano po masasabi ninyo ngayon, especially sa ating sinasagawang 3-day na peaceful rally?
Masaya ako kasi in the light of, even before the expose, no, of Zaldico, bubulusok na ang Pilipinas, winawasak ni Marcos ang Pilipinas, no, dahil sa katiwalian. Walang habas na katiwalian ang nakita natin na ginagawa ng administrasyon ngayon, at ang gobyerno ay ginawang sindikato. Sila nagtatakipan, 'di ba? So, ano ang resulta nun? Ang pinakamahihirap ang nasasaktan dito, nakita natin sa flood control, 'di ba? Nung nagkabagyo, na ang mga nagkandalunod, ang mga nagutom, nanginginig sa lamig, ay mga mahihirap, no? So, masyado nang masakit yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas, yung pangbawasak na ginagawa ni Bongbong Marcos, at kailangan siyang singilin. Kailangan natin siyang to hold him accountable. Hindi pwedeng hindi na, kasi ang ipinaglalaban natin dito ngayon ay ang Pilipinas. Napakababoy na nung pinaggagawa nila sa Kongreso, lalo na sa Office of the President. And now, with the current revelations of Zaldico, no, it all ties up, no. So, tama lang na gawin natin ito. Hindi pwedeng hindi. Kasi alam mo, even historically, you have to have some sense of history about this, no, na years from now, babalikan ito ng mga anak natin at makikita nila bumulusok ang ekonomiya noong panahon ni Marcos, no? Napaka-corrupt ng pangulong ito. Hindi ko nga siya matawag na pangulo kasi as somebody who served under President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, no, he didn't even want to be called president. Gusto niya mayor. No, yan si PRRD ang totoong president, and I couldn't call him just mayor because I saw clearly that he was a president, no? Talagang mahal niya ang Pilipinas. At yung sinasabi ninyo kanina, no, yung good governance na hindi nagnanakaw. Si PRRD 'yon. Si President Rodrigo Roa Duterte 'yon, at saka yung his leadership was such that his moral ascendancy was so high for all of us, no, that we followed. So now that the nightmare, the horror show of the Marcos administration has unfolded before us, I've learned so much, no. We were able to do so much for our country because of the leadership of Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Lahat kami sumusunod sa kanya. Kahit ako personally, kapag ka ako'y nalilito, no, tinitignan ko lang siya, yung example niya. Tapos ang linaw niya, kasi ang linaw nung sinabi niya sa amin nung nag-oath of office kami. Number 1, huwag kayong magnakaw sa Pilipino. Number 2, magsilbi tayo ng maayos. Opposite ni Bongbong Marcos. Si Bongbong Marcos, magnakaw tayo at hindi natin kailangan magsilbi sa Pilipino. Mula sa pagkaupo niya, hindi nagsilbi ang Bongbong Marcos na ito. Hanggang naging maliwanag sa atin, no, na tumakbo siya. Hindi para magsilbi sa Pilipinos, kundi para walang habas na magnakaw sa Pilipino. Ginamit niya ang poder niya, ginamit niya yung ipinagkatiwala sa kanya na poder ng Pilipino para magnakaw sa atin, para saktan tayo, para babuyin ang ating saligang batas. Wala nang batas. Yan ang ginawa ni Bongbong Marcos. No, para sa akin, hindi na dapat mag-resign na siya. Pero syempre, hindi naman yan yung hinihingi ng iba. Pero sa akin yan ang hinihingi ko. He is not fit to lead. He has shown us very clearly he is not a president. He is a drug addict. And he is just somebody who's so corrupt, very corrupt, sobrang corrupt talaga, na talagang winasak niya ang Pilipinas. Na it's the worst performing stock exchange market in the whole world. I didn't even know that was possible, that there was such a thing, no? But yun pala, yan ang ginawa niya, no? So, yeah, this is very timely. Dapat lang na gawin natin ito.
Yes, Doc, gaano kahalaga pala sa ating mga kababayan yung pakikiisa nila, yung bawat Pilipino na makiisa sa ating peaceful rally na ito?
'Di ba yung favorite na na saying ni PRRD in scripture, 'di ba? There is a time for everything, a time to be silent, a time to speak out, a time to cry, a time to laugh. Now is the time to speak out. Wala nang Pilipino na dapat tumatahimik ngayon. Ang tumatahimik ngayon, your party to the destruction of your country. At saka yung mga, alam mo, marami kasing sila Llamas, sila the ones who take the view that they still defend Bongbong Marcos, 'di ba? For me, that's the noise of democracy, of a democracy. Pabayaan mo, that's their opinion eh. They're free to whatever opinion they may have, 'di ba? Pero every Filipino has to speak out now. And sa akin, magsalita sila, yan sila falsies, whatever, I don't care. That's their right, 'di ba? Pero naa-unmask sila. Natatanggalan sila, and then let the public judge them, 'di ba? Kasi ang naririnig natin na sinasabi nila, kasi marami nagsasalita ngayon which is good, 'di ba? At napakaganda na bawat Pilipino ay nakikita ko na a lot of people are really talagang magrarally ngayon at pupunta diyan at talagang sisingilin talaga ang gobyernong ito. Pero ang naririnig ko kasi sa kanila, anybody but Sara Duterte, 'di ba? Well, that's their opinion. Payaan mo sila. Ang saligang batas hindi opinion, batas 'yon. At ang sinasabi ng saligang batas, kapag nag-oust si Bongbong Marcos, ang presidente ay si Inday Sara, ang vice president, right? So, it doesn't matter what your opinion is. Ang kagandahan ng ating saligang batas ay hindi siya steady siya, no? Hindi siya, it's not subject to the whims and caprices of anybody there. Unfortunately, that was what has happened with Bongbong Marcos's administration, where the law hasn't just been bent, it's been mangled beyond recognition, no? So, it's very important for us to speak out because more so kasi yung nakita natin, no? For me personally, no? Sino ba nakita natin na nalulunod diyan sa sa typhoon noon, 'di ba mahihirap? Sila 'yun eh, yung mga bahay nila na natagpi-tagpi eh wala silang kapasidad na pumunta sa Manila at mag-rally or mag-social media or ganon. So boses nila tayo, magsalita tayo para sa kanila kasi sila hindi nila kaya, 'di ba? Yung batang namatayan ng nanay, tatay, mga kapatid, kaya ba niya? Hindi niya kaya. 'Di ba? So tayo magsasalita, Bongbong Marcos, kinuha mo, nag-insert ka ng 100 billion. Alam niyo ba dito sa Tokyo, meron silang underground na hindi lang flood control kundi flood proof ang buong Tokyo. Hindi na dito flood. Kung may flood a few minutes and then wala na. And that flood it very cavernous, I've been there. It's so impressive. It's only worth 88 billion. Can you imagine? 88 billion pesos. Kung hindi magnanakaw ang mga politiko natin, kung hindi magnanakaw ang Pangulong yan, maraming hindi namatay, maraming hindi nawalan ng bahay, ng mga kamag-anak. So, that's the burden of the presidency, which is why I don't even know why anybody wants to be president, no? Except pag magnanakaw ka. Yun yung rason kung ba't mo gusto maging president. Yung mga yan, mga buwisit na yan, 'di ba? So, imbis na magsilbi ng maayos kasi na-experience namin yun kay PRRD eh. You know, the joy of serving, there's no price tag to it. There's no price tag to it. No? At saka ano ba namang kailangan mong pera? Diba gaano ba kadami ang kailangan mo? Yan ang mahirap sa Pilipino. I'm really sad to say this because having lived here in Japan for 8 months already, no? Kasi pag umuwi ako dyan, papa-aresto ako ni Marcos. Bakit? Kasi nagsasalita ako, nagsasabi ako ng katotohanan, 'di ba? So anyway, having lived here, nakita ko, no, yeah, we're saying that Marcos is magnanakaw, etc. Lahat ng mga yan magnanakaw. Pero sino ba nagbumoto diyan? 'Di ba tayo? At nakikita ko yung difference, no, na ang Pilipino talagang mukhang pera, no? Sad to say. Ang lipunan natin mga scammers, mga matapobre, mga social climbers, mga pwedeng bilhin. 'Di ba? Ilan ba 'yung nababribe na 'yan? 'Di ba nasya-shock tayo na 'di ba dati galit na galit ka kay Marcos? Bakit ngayon? Percy Sendanya, Akbayan, 'di ba? Akbayan, galit na galit kayo kay Marcos. Magkano ang suhol ang tinanggap ni Percy Sendanya para sa pirma niya, para sa impeachment ng Vice President? O hindi ba magnanakaw 'yon? 'Di ba? So, it's not possible here in Japan. So I really think that if we love our country, we should really have this very deep soul searching about why it is that we had a president like that.
Yes.
The worst kind of human being ever. No truth. He has no capacity for truth. And that to me is terrible. It's a terrible character trait, no? No, the worst. Why is it possible for the Filipino people to have had a president like this, while it's impossible here in Japan to have a president like that? A person like that is not possible in Japan na aakyat yan sa lipunan. Lalo na maging head nila, maging prime minister, never. Hindi papayag ang mga Hapon. At saka yung ganyang klaseng tao sa Japan, magpapakamatay yan pag naging ganyan siya. Dorobo, magnanakaw. So we really should have a very soul searching as a nation for why this has happened, because it's not just Marcos, no, it's also us, it's also in our traits. Because why is this possible? Our leaders are a reflection of who we are as a people, so we really need to understand why it was possible for us to have a leader like that. Terrible, the worst kind of human being ever.
You think, Doc, his leadership has to do something with some of the government officials, like including Bryce? He's not scared to lose 150 million for betting, for displaying all this money on the billiard table. You
Yeah.
think it's because of his... Wala na silang takot eh.
Yeah.
Pagdating sa pera.
Yes, definitely. No, I hope I understood your question right, because I can only see it from my perspective as somebody who worked under PRRD, no, as an appointee of PRRD, and worked with him very closely in all those years that he sat in office. And you know, we were so scared of him. He had that moral ascendancy. No, because I saw him kick undersecretaries who were corrupt. I mean, like literally kick them. Sinipa niya. Galit na galit siya. So talagang lahat kami, at saka pag kumakain kami with PRRD, I say this story often because it was our lived reality. That he would say, no, ito lang ulam natin, no? Tsaka simple lang ulam natin. Kung anong kinakain ng simpleng tao, no? Meron tayong fried chicken, meron tayong sabaw, meron tayong whatever. Tapos sasabihin niya, kasi okay naman yan, kasi hindi natin pera yan, pera ng taong bayan yan. In other words, sineryoso namin yon kasi leader namin siya. Eh kapag ka ang leader mo magnanakaw, katulad ni Bongbong Marcos, na pagka pumunta ka ng Malacanang, na nagawa ko naman, nakapunta ako ng president na yun si Bongbong Marcos, nakita ko yung spread, nakita ko yung buffet, breakfast, lunch sa opisina ni Bersamin. May steak, may lobster, buffet. Mga walang kahihiyan, ang kakapal ng mga mukha nila sa Pilipino. Kaya nakita ninyo kung paano yung trato. Kasi si PRRD, his leadership was such that he would, what did you see? We saw him bow to us, diba? And that was something that it was really authentically him. PRRD yun, nahihiya siya. So kami din, nahihiya din kami. I remember na I traveled with my family and we could have gone business class, but I said no, kasi people might know me and they might think that I'm spending money of the people, 'di ba? So we'll stay economy. So sa madaling salita, dahil ang leader ko ganon, nahihiya siya sa Pilipino, ikaw din, susunod ka, nahihiya ka din. Pero itong kakakapal ng mga muka, nagpo-post pa sa Facebook at naggumigiling-giling pa yung ASEC Lia Badilla na yon, and etc., whoever of these people are, they're not ashamed. And they keep on lying to the Filipino people over and over and over to the point where they're already insulting our intelligence. Ang kakapal ng mga muka. Why is that? Because your leaders like that, exactly like that. And unfortunately, the wife is the same. Nakakahiya. Alam mo si PRRD, everything was maayos with him. He was ours, 100%. His personal life was maayos, no? However, it didn't get in the way of him serving our country. This one who runs our country, his wife who's very corrupt also, that according to rumors that we've heard, no, and mukhang pwede siyang isubstantiate, is one of the top smugglers in customs. Diba? So all of these things have to be addressed. No, and this has to be laid out there because you have already raped the country and you've really destroyed it beyond recognition. So that now the CPP, NP, even as we're speaking right now, the CPP, NPA, NDF inside BJMP, no, yan sila Vic Ladlad, the top terrorists of the country, are sitting down with our children and recruiting them. Meron ng agreement with their schools and the BJMP, they allow it because Marcos allows it. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's indifferent. Why is that? Because he's a drug addict. Diba? So, how did we get to this point that we were led by a drug addict? And that should stop. That should stop.
Sa Doc,
Healthy is more than reps. It can also be preps. Stretch a little or reach further. Hold tight or let go. Rethink what healthy can be with AIA.
kung ating babalikan ay hindi po ito tinanggap ng pamahalaan bagkos nakulong pa po kayo. Ano pong masasabi niyo dito sa ginawa? Dahil kayo po gusto niyo ipahayag yung katotohanan, pero ang isinukli po ay iba. Gaya na lang kay Pastor, gaya na lang kay PRRD. What can you say about this that happened to you, Doc, before?
Ano mo, Franco, no, brother, Franco J, mga kababayan, I'm very philosophical about it, and it's something that you need to embrace when you fight for something like this. Yakap mo yan, hindi ka nagbibilang. Why do I feel this way? I saw it with PRRD. You remember he would say, before siya mag-expose about drugs or the oligarchs or whatever, he would say, alam mo, pagkatapos nito hahabulin nila ako, pero di bale, sasabihin ko. Diba?
Yes.
So, ganun talaga. Naiiyak ako pag naalala ko siya. But where is he now? Has he been rewarded? No. he has it in the last chapter of his life. This drug addict president committed the heinous crime of extraordinary rendition on some of the pillars of Philippine society, PRRD, Pastor Quiboloy, and people who are speaking the truth about our country. This rotten president, cannot even call him president, this rotten person has done that crime on a president who served so well our country, very faithfully our country. And Pastor Quiboloy, di ba? Ano bang ginawa ni Pastor sa buhay niya? Kundi magsilbi sa taong bayan na wala siyang kinikilalang relihiyon or paniniwala, kaibigan ng mga Muslim, kaibigan ng mga indigenous peoples. But where is he now? Right? He's in prison, and where am I now? I'm in exile. But do we regret anything that we've done? Hell no, no. If I could do it over 1,000,000 times, I would do it exactly the same way, 1,000,000 times. Because this is what it means when you fight for your country. And I know that. I guess because I saw it with my father. I saw it with PRRD. And I try to be a good student of history. And you have to have a very good sense of history about everything that's happening now. That's why I really feel sorry for the cowards in our midst who have chosen to remain silent, because history will judge them very harshly. And not only that, they're missing their destiny. I'm in a very good place, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that wala akong ilusyon na I'll be part of history or anything like that. I'm just saying that I can tell my kids, I can tell my grandchildren that I fought for you guys, and it's for real, diba? They will know that the record will bear me out on this. But what about these people who are compromising right now and saying that the BBM should not resign because they would rather have him than Sara, despite the egregious theft of this magnanakaw? What does that mean? What have they only shown? Itong sila Falsi, sila Llamas, what have they shown the Filipino people? Laila De Lima, Chel Jokno, Kiko Pangilinan, what have they shown the Filipino people? All they have shown the Filipino people is that they love power more than they love their country. Diba? Diba? So, while all of this is going on, no, yung kay PRRD, he's 80 years old, no, and of course Marcos means for PRRD to die in prison, and I'm pretty sure he means the same thing for Pastor, di ba?
Yes, that's right.
But wait, ha, Franco, I just want to make a point. But you know Pastor, I know PRRD, and I know Pastor. Are they afraid to die in prison? No, they're not.
That's right.
No, they're not. Diba? So this is what makes them formidable. Walang natatakot dito, 'di ba? Minsan lang tayong mabuhay. I'm almost quoting PRRD verbatim, and I've heard Pastor say this over and over. Minsan lang tayong mabuhay kapag binigyan ka ng pagkakataon para tumayo, para sa bansa mo, tumayo ka diyan, 'di ba? So
right.
kailangan ipakita mo 'yan sa future generations. Kailangan ipakita mo yan sa Pilipino, ganito magmahal. Kasi yan yung regalo ni PRRD sa atin. Pinakita niya sa atin paano magmahal ng Pilipinas, di ba?
Yes,
Ayun.
correct, Doc. At yun nga ang nangyari ngayon na kung sino pa ang nanindigan sa tama ay tila naiba ang ihip ng hangin at sila pa yung inoppress. Gaya nga nung kay Pastor din at kay former President na umano'y tumatanggap daw ng pera si Pastor, ay binigyan linaw ni Pastor na never. Si Pastor Apollo ay gusto niya lang tumulong sa kanyang kaibigan dahil alam niyang may mabuting puso ito na tulungan talaga mapaunlad ang ating bayan, which is nakita naman natin kung gaano kalaki yung pagbabago. 3 years nakita natin, Doc, ang build. 3 years nakita natin yung pamamahagi ng mga lupa. 3 years, ang dami nating nakitang progress. Yun po ba, Doc, yung kung ating pagbabasihan, yung accomplishment at walang corruption na nangyayari, does it reflect through the project and accomplishments of the administration?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Not the phony surveys of Okta or whatever. No, definitely, no. That's the way to look at it. The projects and the numbers. The numbers will tell you, no, that we were the most promising economy in the region under PRRD's times. I want to go back and talk about Pastor a little bit more, ha. Kasi for us who know him and love him, what struck me about Pastor, what strikes me about, he was like parang bata, 'di ba? Parang siyang very childlike, 'di ba? That his love for country and just to do what's right, 'di ba? Gawin lang natin yung tama at saka yung tumulong sa mahihirap, and talagang he was very idealistic, that he really whatever he believed in, he really fought for, and these were high ideals, 'di ba? Yung kaya best friends sila, 'di ba? Isn't that a beautiful story? Even though I'm very sad right now that they're in prison and I wish them liberty, no? Honestly, as maybe that part of me that's a writer and a reader, love their story so much. I love the story of these two kasi I've sat down with them often. Yung kaming tatlo lang na nagdi-dinner, ganon. And then there was even one time they were going to sit down together. Plenty of times na it happened na they're going to sit down together. I didn't want to presume na magkasama kami. Di umalis na ako. And then they had me called back so that I could join them. So I would often wonder, what did I do in life, no, that I would deserve to be sitting beside these two moral giants, di ba? And it really felt like a privilege to sit with them, because they were, even though they were getting on in their years, no, tumatanda na sila, they were very young in spirit, no, the way their ideas, the things that they believed in. And it was so wonderful to see that kind of friendship na talagang nagmamahalan sila, para sila talagang magkapatid, na and to sit down and to listen to them talk about our country and what their aspirations were for our country, 'di ba? Whereas itong mga nakaupo ngayon, mas bata pa kina Pastor, pero bulok na yung mga kaluluwa nila. Wala na ngang kaluluwa yung mga yan, talagang ibinenta na sa demonyo, 'di ba? So alam mo ito, when they talk about money, no, the funny thing about PRRD and Pastor, it doesn't even figure in their consciousness, diba? They talk about, but we hardly ever hear them talk about how much like this, how much like that, diba? Kasi parang it's not part of their, hindi sila enamored with it. They're not enamored with it, diba? Hindi sila nanginginig yung laman sa ganon. Parang hindi nga na part ng consciousness nila yun, diba? So, kaya gustong-gusto ko yung nakikita ko ngayon, na kahit malungkot ako kasi nakita ko, dami ko natututunan na pag napasukan mo pala ng pera tapos tinanggap, talagang makokorap yung kaluluwa nito mga taong ito. And even people I know that I used to like so much, no, people I respected, it's gone, no? I look at Vince Dizon, no, and I say, my God, what happened to this guy, 'di ba? Na you're propping up a very immoral president. What's wrong with you? Diba?
Yes, Doc. Correct, Doc. Doc, tanggap po muna tayo ng balita mula sa Quirino Grandstand. Alamin na natin ang iba pang mga kaganapan sa Quirino Grandstand sa Luneta. Mula kay Margot Gonzalez, live. Magandang hapon, Margot.
Franco, as of 1 p.m. ayon sa Manila DRMMO, ay umabot na sa 45,000 yung mga nandito, yung crowd estimate sa Luneta at Quirino Grandstand sa Manila para sa 3 araw na peaceful rally laban sa korupsyon. At nakita natin, Franco, sa bahagi ng Calvo Road at Rojas Boulevard ay patuloy yung pasok ng mga tao dito sa Quirino Grandstand. Matindi yung sikat ng araw dito, Franco. Halos lahat may bitbit na payong, habang yung ibang narito ay nag-set up ng tent para daw hindi sila mainitan. Kasabay ng mainit na panahon, Franco, ay itong mainit nilang sigaw ng katarungan at yung hagad nilang mapanagot itong mga kurap. Bilang taxpayer daw, yung mga nakausap natin dito, especially yung mga nagtatrabaho nandito ngayon sa Luneta at sa Quirino Grandstand, Franco, ang sabi nila bilang taxpayer, ay kailangan silang makialam o kailangan nilang makialam sa usapin ng katiwalian. Yan ay sa gitna ng mga nabulgar na anomalya sa flood control project. Kaya sa mga nakasulat dito, Franco, sa kanilang mga placard, ng mga rallyista, yung mga nandito ngayon sa rally, ay itong mga pinunong gahaman, sumisita sa bayan, expose the deeds of evil, pera ng bayan ibalik, mga kurakot, EPS. Karamihan naman sa mga nandito mga kapartner ay mga nasa around lang daw po, nandito lang sa paligid ng National Capital Region. Pero kanina lang ay may nakausap tayong mga taga Bulacan. Alam naman natin yung
Doc, meron po ba kayong mga katanungan sa kasalukuyan?
bilang isang speaker kanina sa sales, pinalis nila yung mga polis kasi ayaw nila yung mga may armadong nakikita sa kanilang rally. Inaasahan ang rally ngayong araw ay magsasara mamaya alas 10 ng gabi at magre-resume ulit bukas bandang alas 4 ng hapon at ang rally inaasahang magpupunclude sa araw ng Martes. Franco.
Yes, Margot, kasama rin natin ngayon si Dr. Lorraine Badoy. Doc, meron po ba kayong mga katanungan sa kasalukuyang kaganapan ng rally po natin sa Luneta, sa Quirino Grandstand?
Margot. Hello, Margot.
Go ahead po, Madeline.
Margot, ano naman, wala namang nag-aaway, wala naman ganun. Kasi kaya ako tinatanong, Margot, kasi ang concern ko is yung infiltration, 'di ba, ng mga makakaliwa para guluhin yung rally, 'di ba? Kasi alam naman natin kung paano sila gumalaw. So wala namang parang ganon. Parang meron bang sistema na napopolis yung ranks ng mga nagrarally?
Dr. Rain, maliban doon sa mga polis na nandito naka-standby just in case na magkaroon po ng gulo, yun po yung talagang inaasahan po natin sa kanila na talagang babantayan nila itong buong Quirino Grandstand at ito po nga Luneta para nga po dito sa mga rallyista. Sabi nilang agency sa atin, yung isa sa mga nakausap natin, may mga umiikot silang mga marshal dito para bantayan din itong buong lugar just to make sure na walang mai-implant or para masigurado na magiging tuloy-tuloy yung payapang o mapagpapang rally dito. Ang sabi nila so far, batay dito sa mga otoridad na nakausap natin, walang anumang untoward incident. Yung mga pulis at naalis nila doon sa gitna ng rally kanina kasi nga may mga dalang paril Ma'am Lorraine ay umalas din naman. Sa ngayon ay tuloy-tuloy po yung mapayapang panawagan nila kontra korupsyon.
Yan, maraming salamat.
Margot,
Ay, go ahead,
one
Doc.
last question. Yung kanina si Ka-Erds, 'di ba, nagalit siya, 'di ba? So ano yung konteksto nun?
Ano po yung context ng
Ano yung context ng bakit nagalit yung si Ka-Erds, yung leader ng iglesia?
Okay. Alam mo yung mga nakasuot nilang dito sa dito sa buong Quirino Grandstand, meron silang mga dito sa t-shirt nila. Kasi karamihan sa mga nandito talaga is naka-white t-shirt at makikita natin sa t-shirt na nakalagay na transparency for a better democracy. Yung talaga yung nila, ang hangad nila magkaroon ng transparent sa gobyerno at magkaroon ng accountability so para doon sa mga opisyal na sangkot sa anumang korupsyon, especially doon sa issue ng flood control, Ma'am Lorraine.
Okay, so bakit nagalit si Ka-Erds? Bakit nagalit ang iglesia? Dun sa police?
Hindi naman nagalit. Hindi naman medyo nagalit. Kasi parang ano lang nila na
Pinagsabihan.
kasi they are aiming and they are hoping na magiging tuloy-tuloy na peaceful yung buong lugar para dito sa rally. Ayaw nila talaga, Ma'am Rain, talaga nila. Galit sila kasi ayaw nila na mayroong mga nag-join talaga sa rally na may mga dalang baril. Kasi hindi naman natin talaga alam na baka magkaroon ng incident. Kasi nga, may pumutok, may mga biglang magpaputok ng baril dito sa gitna ng rally. Hindi na iniwasan nila. So, ibig sabihin, ayaw nila, na-detect nila ng mga pulis pumunta doon sa rally with armado. Yun talaga ayaw nila. Kaya sabi nila, umalis kayo dito. Welcome kayo, pero sana walang armas dito sa rally.
Okay, salamat Margot.
Maraming salamat, Margot Gonzalez, sa detalye ng iyong balita. Yan, partner Jade, Doc, nakita naman natin na maging maayos naman ang ating isinasagawang rally ngayon at wala namang nakikita tayo, wala tayong namamataang mga grupo na talaga namang mahilig magsagawa ng kaguluhan gaya na lang ng nangyari noong September, what is that, 21?
Yes.
Partner? Yeah. Kung
September
kailan
21.
nagkaroon ng, di ba, nababato pa ng Molotov, kung ano-ano.
Sa Mendiola banda
Sa
yan.
Mendiola banda. Kaya nga ngayon, Dok, kung ating babalikan kung saan yung mga lugar, yung mga barikada, doon sa Mendiola pa lang, Dok, is para 5 layers na yun. Ginawa nilang barricade eh. 3 barbed wire. First layer muna yung kanilang barricade and then barbed wire and then meron pang mga trucks. What do you call it? Mga container trucks para harangan. Ganun katindi
Container van.
yung pagharang nila, Dok.
Alam mo kung anong sabi ni ng mga political scientists tungkol sa ganyan, no? ang kapag ka ang estado ay gumagamit na ng karahasan. Kaya tulad niyan, takot na sila sa tao kasi wala na silang kapangyarihan. Bakit? Saan ba nanggagaling ang kapangyarihan ng mga yan? Sa taong bayan. No? Sa taong bayan nanggagaling. So kapag gumagamit na sila ng karahasan, ready na silang gumamit ng karahasan, ibig sabihin ramdam na ni Marcos na nag-withdraw na ng tao ng tiwala sa kanya. Wala nang tiwala ang taong bayan sa iyo, Bongbong Marcos. Kung kaya't kailangan niyang gumamit ng force, di ba? Whereas I never saw President Rodrigo Roa Duterte ever do anything like that. In fact, bumababa siya sa crowds. In fact, ang sakit ng ulo ng PSG kay PRRD was that he kept on breaching yung security lines. Talagang lumalapit siya sa tao. Kahit nasasabihin siya, sir, wag, kasi yung security, hindi. Lumalapit si PRRD, hindi siya natatakot. No, mahal niya ang tao. Alam niya hindi siya sasaktan ng mga tao. Diba? So si Bongbong Marcos has no such assurance anymore. Galit na ang tao, alam niya yan. So the paradox there is when a government is strong, they don't need to show their force. And when they don't need to show their force, that means they're very strong. They have the trust of the people. And the government that has to show its force and that has to threaten the people, that is a very weak government because they don't have the support and the trust of the Filipino people. That's it. That's what you're seeing right now.
Yes, at dagdagan ko lang, Doc, dahil naging pahayag din ni Palace Press Officer Claire Castro na hindi nababahala sa mga pagtitipon ang ating presidente ngayon. Ano masasabi po ninyo dito, Doc?
Si Claire Castro kasi, alam mo, wala akong galit sa kanya kahit kasi nakikita ko yung mga tao galit na galit sa kanya no. Ginagawa lang niya yung trabaho niya. At saka yung she's the alter ego of Bongbong Marcos, 'di ba? So I think that she's a very good face of Bongbong Marcos. She represents him very well, no? She lies constantly. She's kind of stupid, no? I mean, the things that she says is really downright stupid because her principal is actually a very stupid person, diba? So, she's a very clear reflection of Bongbong Marcos, no? So, if she says that, I mean, the sad part that they don't get They don't get how precious the trust was, the trust of the Filipino people. They didn't talagang winaldas ni Bongbong Marcos ang political capital niya agad-agad and he started really well, no? Maraming bumoto sa kanya and he was trusted obviously. Pero wala, winaldas nila, hindi nila nakita, no? Hindi nila nakuha na napakahalaga nung tiwala na yon. Kasi kahit na ano pang sabihin ni Claire Castro, kahit na ano pang sabihin ni Bongbong Marcos, ni Gibo Chodoro, ni whoever, nobody believes them, no? So yun ang mahirap.
Yes.
Yun ang mahirap talaga kasi yung sa amin noon, no, yung trust rating ni Pangulong Bongbong, syempre sa PCOO kami yung nagbabalita, we had to make sure that the Filipino people knew PRRD, etc. But he was an easy sell kasi hindi siya sinungaling, hindi siya magnanakaw, nagtatrabaho siya para sa tao. So, you only needed to tell the truth about him. That's it. Tapos, ito si Claire Castro, mahirap ang trabaho niya. No? Yung concern ko, ulitin ko na naman yung tanong ko, kasi Jason, ang sabi ng source ko sa loob ng BJMP, yung mga CPP, NPA, NDF na top cadres na nandun, mula nung nag-expose si Saldico, non-stop yung meetings nila, no? So and we know that BBM and the CPP are colluding with each other. Allies sila ngayon. Yan yung betrayal of public trust ni Bongbong Marcos. So my concern is, no, that magkakaroon ng violence diyan para the narrative of how the father declared martial law, 'di ba? Pinagulo niya so that he could justify declaring martial law, and we don't want that, of course. So my concern is that paano nila pinopolice yung ranks nila na para hindi mapasukan ng mga teroristang yan.
partner.
Oo, Doc, narinig nga natin yung inyong pananaw at syempre experience po ninyo with the FPRRD kung paano po siya mamuno, lalo na paglaban sa korupsyon. Kaya nga, hindi natin may kakilala kung bakit magkaibigan na matalik si Pastor Apollo C. Quiboloy at si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Roa Duterte dahil pareho silang hindi magnanakaw, pareho silang lumalaban sa korupsyon at halos magkapareho po sila ng bisyon para sa ating bansa na talagang maging maunlad ang ating bansa at maging maganda yung pamumuhay ng ating mga kababayan. At nakita nyo rin noon sa panahon ng dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte kung paano niya pinarusahan yung mga nagnakaw lang ng kokonti lamang, pero nako, ang tindi po ng galit ng Pangulo sa mga dating Pangulo sa mga ganun pong opisyal ng gobyerno. Kaya ang nangyari, talagang tanggal sa serbisyo.
There's a part of me na parang relieved ako na wala siyang access ngayon sa social media kasi masasaktan talaga siya sa nakita niya doon sa, kunyari yung sa flood, yung nahirapan ng mga tao. No, so there's a part of me na masaya na hindi niya nakikita yon. Kasi nakita ko si PRRD, no, yung umiyak siya, pag umiiyak siya, pag nakikita niya na nahihirapan yung mahihirap pagka may disaster. Tapos yung concern niya, yung kinikwento ko dati, di ba, yung dapat may bigas sila, dapat yung bahay nila maayos, dapat yung kaya parang ang sakit-sakit ng makita na sinasabi ni Bongbong Marcos, 5,000, 10,000 ibibigay niya para sa bahay. Ano yun? Bahay ng manok, 'di ba? Wala talagang alam. Tapos and then now we find out that 100 billion ang pina-insert niya para meron siyang 25 billion. And then there's other things that's just one item in the long list of what Bongbong Marcos has stolen from us, 'di ba? So what else? PhilHealth, ginalaw yung mga PhilHealth contributions natin at sinabi niya na isusoli niya yung 60 billion. Eh, ano nangyari dun sa 29 or 30 billion pa na balance, hindi niya isusoli? At saka talaga bang sinoli niya? Hindi ako naniniwala eh. Tingin ko hindi niya sinoli yun, magnanakaw siya eh, di ba? What else? Kahit yung savings natin, nakakapiranggot, PDIC, kahit yun ginalaw, di ba napakawalang iya, di ba? So, and then to see, no, na yung mga nalunod, yung mga masyadong masakit yun. Masyadong masakit yun. Lalo pa, alam ko first hand kung paano minahal ni PRRD ang Pilipino. And then kung paano namin inalagaan yung Pilipino at yung talagang parang si PRRD, no, na talagang dinibdib namin yung pagsilbi sa bayan. Pagkatapos makita mo, sinira na lang ng ganyan-ganyan na lang. Wala man lang siyang kahit na isang proyekto, pero 17 trillion na ba yung ating utang with nothing to show for it? Diba talagang magnanakaw? No, talagang magnanakaw ito si Bongbong Marcos at talagang dapat pababain na yan sa pwesto.
Doc.
For me, that's my opinion and I'm entitled to it.
Opo.
He can no longer lead our country. He's not fit. He should be taken out. And talagang otherwise what we're looking at right now is the death of our country. Already it's happening. Even yan si Amena has to be she's also part of it, no. So marami sa kanila ang kumita sa bayan, kumita sa pagdurusa ng Pilipino. And she is so intellectually dishonest. She's so dishonest yung sinasabi niya na the budget is an executive, di ba yung sa NEP, sinabi niya?
Yes.
Na what did she say about
sa
it?
legislatura. Trabaho po ng legislature po yung pag-i-insert
Yeah,
ng budget
yes,
sa BICAM
correct.
particular. Hindi po sa NEP. Dahil sa NEP ay talagang mabubusisi yun ng taong bayan, ng mga media at ng mga ahensya po na nakatutok po sa pag-audit po ng budget ng mga agencies po.
Two things, very intellectually dishonest si Amena, no, which makes me lead to the conclusion that meron siyang tinatago at nakinabang din itong taong ito, no. She's lying. Kasi number one, no, the moment Marcos sat in power, wala namang separation of powers anymore eh. Because the executive, that the president and the head of the legislature are first cousins. Walang delikadesa kasi. So nagkuntsabahan sila. That's number one. So number two, no. So in other words, she's lying. She's intellectually dishonest when she tries to put forth the independence of these two independent bodies, because it's not true. Everybody knows that ever since Marcos sat in power, magkakuntsaba yung dalawang magnanakaw na yan, si Martin Romualdez at si Bongbong Marcos. And then number two, to say that the budget process in executive is a legislative function, that's again intellectually dishonest. Kasi talagang maraming walang, parang sinasabi niya walang say ang pangulo doon. Hindi totoo 'yon, 'di ba? Talagang marami yan backdoor dealings, marami siyang usapan, 'di ba? So she's being intellectually dishonest about all of this. No, which that's I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but what is Amiana Pangandaman hiding, and how much has she benefited from all of this, that she would lie and try to cover up for the president? That's why nga, di ba, I hope that Zaldico can substantiate it when she says that what this Amiana said, that what the president wants, the president gets, as if something like that would never come out of any of our lips about PRRD. You know why? Because he was so humble.
Yes.
He really knew his place. He was such an elegant person. Elegant leader talaga, na alam niya na yung poder na hawak niya, hindi yon para sa kanya. No, and to say something like that would be an obscenity. Kakadiri to say something like that. But it's exactly what we saw with It isn't as if it's far-stretched na napakahirap paniwalaan na Bongbong Marcos would say something like that. The wife is so abusive, so arrogant. Everybody in that team, lahat sila mga abusado, arrogante, at lasing sa kapangyarihan. Name me one person there who's humble. Wala. 'Di ba? Kaya yabang, nabuti sana kung may nagawa. And tatanga nga eh. Ang yayabang na nga, tatanga pa. You have to be stupid, not, in order to take a very promising economy, the most promising economy, in under 3 years destroy it to the worst performing stock exchange. You must be really stupid. Diba? And you have to be really some kind of stupid in order for the CPP, who was already down on its knees, to be recovering right now. Diba? Tapos, and yet, ang yayabang, as if meron silang accomplishment. Wala. Anong in-accomplish ninyo? Winasak ninyo ang Pilipinas. Tapos kayayabang. Why? The leader is exactly like that. And the wife is exactly like that. Why are we talking about the wife? Because the wife is the de facto president. Nobody ever voted for Lisa Marcos, and yet her handprints are all over the place. Diba? It's disgusting. Disgusting. It's really the repeat of the Romualdez Marcos kleptocracy.
Opo. Pero Doc, naalala ho ba ninyo yung panayam ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. sa isang Australian journalist na kung saan
Sarah
tinanong
Ferguson.
tungkol po yun sa ill-gotten wealth ng Pangulo. At meron po siyang binanggit ang Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. na maaring yun po ang magiging batayan sa mga nangyayari natin ngayon. Ang isa po, yung sinabi po, i-quote ko lamang, sabi niya ng Pangulo doon, they took everything from us. Kung maalala po ninyo, bago po nagtumakbo ang Pangulo, si BBM, negatibo, grabing critics po laban po sa kanya. Talagang talagang paupuin siya dahil nga nakilala po siyang anak ng diktador at Winaldas. At alam natin, with that statement of the President, sabi niya, they took everything from us. Nakikita ho ba ninyo na itong nangyayari ngayon ay paghihiganti dahil nga noong panahon na sila ay tinaboy ng Pilipinas, talagang through people power ay nawalay po sila dito sa Pilipinas. Ang gobyerno, sa tingin po ninyo, yung galit na yun niya sa gobyerno noon at yung galit niya sa mga Pilipino nang nawala ang kanilang mga kayamanan, ibinubuhos po niya ngayon sa panahong ito sa kanyang administrasyon.
Yeah. We didn't think so, 'di ba? Kasi nagkamali tayo, failure of imagination, kasi akala natin normal siya katulad natin na kapag ka may nanira sa at binigyan ka ng second chance, you're going to prove yourself. You're going to prove them wrong, 'di ba? Your critics wrong. Yung pala hindi. And then his ex closest friends have said so. Attorney Glenn Chong has said it, no, na bumabawi siya ngayon. Naghihiganti siya ngayon sa Pilipinas na lahat pala nung nangyari yung pag-out sa tatay niyang magnanakaw, and everything was taken away from them, which is not even true, no? Which is not even true. Ang mga magnanakaw to mga ito, kakaiba tong pamilyang ito, mga addict talaga sa pagkakawatan, no? Talagang sticky fingers. Is that ngayon sila bumabawi? Tingnan mo naman kung bumawi. Under 3 years, nalimas niya ang kaban ng bayan. No? So talagang, at saka nakikita mo na indifferent siya. No? People will say all sorts of things na about him. But maybe because of my training as a doctor, I always go back to the pathology. So he is a man with a substance abuse disorder. Therefore, we cannot expect anything great from him, di ba? He's a liar. That's substance abuse disorder, etc. No, because it affects all parts of your brain. No? Drug addiction, your judgment, your decision making, your memory, your impulse control, etc. Di ba? So, my point is, no. What we're seeing right now is someone who's been deeply wounded by what happened to them, no? That's actually even their fault, no? 20 plus years na sinira ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. ang Pilipinas, at ngayon siya bumabawi. At saka alam mo, nakausap ko kasi si Amy Marcos, no, a few times, and what I found really sickening, no, and I would point it out to her, is that this sickening sense of entitlement. They really feel that they are entitled to power and to Malacanang. So because I asked my Amy Marcos, why did you make him run? Why did you make him run? At kita mo yung kalidad ng pag-iisip. Kutsa parang ipis yung level ng pag-iisip. Very low caliber of thinking, no? Stupid, in other words. And then she said, this is her explanation, because ever since they were kids, they grew up, Bongbong Marcos grew up, all of them grew up with that constant narrative of their parents that there should be again another there should again be another President Ferdinand Marcos. He had that name, and that in fact, in other words, they feel so entitled to living in Malacanang again because they were in power for so long, that they feel so entitled to it na hindi nila now that we have it, hindi na namin ito bibitawan. That's why, di ba, pagkaupo, Martin Romualdez wasted no time in trying to secure their perpetuation in power. So gross, so disgusting, kadiri, 'di ba? Pero yan yung ginawa nila. No, so this family is so sick. It's the curse of the Filipino people, this family, that they feel so entitled, and in fact, people surrounding them, they all feel entitled to the power that they hold. And it's so weird. It's so weird because we didn't feel that way at all under PRRD. When he invited me, when he asked me if I could join him, it took me 8 months to say yes because I know what that means. It means trabaho, it means responsibility, and all my life I ran away from it because nakita ko sa tatay ko, yung maging public servant, ang hirap-hirap, parang wala kang panalo dyan, di ba? And then, but sila hindi ganun ang tingin nila. Ang tingin nila sa pwesto, pagkakakitaan ito, pare, racket ito, di ba? That's why they don't even have secretaries right away. They have acting secretaries, they have chu-chu-chu. And what we hear is that they sell it. These positions are for sale. It's so weird. So once they buy that position, there's nothing expected from them anymore. They're no longer there to serve the Filipino people because we bought it, di ba? So disgusting, and it's so weird, and it's so dangerous to have that kind of mindset when you're in government, na tingin mo sa poder na yan, no, na para kang celebrity, para kang superstar na entitled ka. Hindi. Kapag ikaw ay public servant, yun ang ibig sabihin ng servant, alila ka. lahat talaga tatanggapin mo, yayakapin mo ang criticisms, hindi ka ma-offend, hindi ka, lahat 'yon parte ng at saka talagang magtatrabaho ka para sa bayan. Pero sila pala hindi pala ganoon yung tingin nila, no? So,
Alright.
yun yung sagot.
Opo. Doc, naku, wala lang tayong panahon at oras ngayon at nagpapasalamat po kami sa inyong panahon at sa pagbibigay po ninyo ng insights patungkol nga po dito sa mga issue ng korupsyon sa ating bansa. Ingat po kayo, Doc, at mabuhay po kayo.
Jade.
Ingat, Doc.
Ayan po mga kababayan, si